Hello, everyone, and I hope you're all doing well. My name is Tanner Dagenais, and I'm the host of Sabotage Solutions. On this podcast, it's my opportunity and my pleasure to be able to share everything I know about self sabotage so that you can overcome self sabotage in your life. Now, today we're going to be talking about a common form of self sabotage, and that is self sabotage towards sleeping. And so I'm going to be answering the question of why am I always tired? Because it's a very common question that I get. I see it's very common on the internet, and I always hear people talk about how tired they are in my office workplace, just day to day. People are always saying, "Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I need my coffee." So we're going to talk about that. We're going to explain. I'm going to explain why you're feeling tired, very common reasons why you're feeling tired, which is likely going to include probably part of the reason why you're feeling tired. And keep in mind, it could be multiple reasons, right? It's not just included just to one. So it's really important to address this. I know I used to feel tired all the time, and so we'll talk about that as well. So the very first one, which I know is going to upset some people, is caffeine. Yes, I'm talking about your caffeine, your favorite thing to keep you awake, your favorite thing to help you start your day. But really think about this. What are some common things people are saying when they're having their caffeine? They're saying, "Oh, I just got to have my caffeine to wake up. Oh man, without my coffee, I'm not normal in the morning. Without my coffee," they become reliant on their coffee, on their caffeine. And the problem is that their body is becoming reliant on the caffeine. Now, what does caffeine do? How do we get that alert feeling? How do we feel like we have more energy when we drink it? Because that's why it's self-sabotaging your energy levels and your sleep at the same time. So caffeine, what it does is it increases cortisol in your body because it actually acts as a toxin within your body because your body does not like caffeine. Plain simple truth. It's actually caffeine within plants and things like that is used as a deterrent to bugs so they don't consume it. Now, humans, of course, don't really follow that and listen to their bodies as much as they should and are consuming it anyways. So, caffeine, it increases cortisol in your body. What that means is that your flight or flight response systems are activating, meaning that your blood is draining from your brain, your organs, and is going to your arms and your legs. And they actually done MRIs on people from having no caffeine to just 1 cup of coffee, just one little 8-ounce cup of coffee, and guess what happens? 40% brain blood in the brain reduction from just 1 cup of coffee. So it's very, very important you really consider what caffeine is doing to you. So obviously it's not just coffee, it's energy drinks, it's sodas, there's caffeine in candies, there's caffeine in a lot of prescription drugs, there's caffeine everywhere. So be careful how much caffeine you're putting into your body. I'd really recommend getting away from it entirely, but I know for some people that's just they're not willing to give it up at this point. So definitely keep an eye on when you're consuming caffeine and how much you're doing it, because it activates the fight or flight response system. So what you can think of is that imagine your heart, right, is like the fist. And for everyone who's not watching video, I have my hand just closed, kind of just like in a not very tight fist, right? So like I still have some air in between my hand. I'm not digging my nails into my hand at all. And if you do that and just kind of slowly pump your fingers down like it's the heart and don't do it hard, you can probably do this pumping for a long time, right? That's your body without caffeine. Now make your fist super tight and try doing that and see how much longer you can do that, right? What's happening is that you are adding more stress to your heart, to your body. So your body has to actually pump harder. It's tightening your blood vessels. And so you are actually stressing yourself. That's how you get that alert feeling. And so you use all your energy very quickly, and it doesn't actually produce any energy. That's the thing. it just uses all your energy you have very quickly. So once it wears off, you're usually very tired, right? And then you need your coffee to get it back. The thing is, most people are drinking caffeine and they still have the caffeine in their system because it has a long half-life. They still have that caffeine in their system even when they're going to bed. So when they wake up in the morning, they no longer have most of the caffeine in their system, and then they're like, oh man, I'm so tired, and they need that caffeine to get the same effect again, because they don't actually have any energy at that point because it's been used up by all the caffeine. And so that caffeine, not only does it lead to using up all your energy, but then it usually affects your sleep because you drink it too late. So if you're going to drink caffeine, don't do it after 12 p.m. You want to do it before noon, and you want to probably keep it down to like just 1 cup. uh, I know that seems like a little amount for some people, but that's actually a large amount of caffeine, especially in some of these specialized drinks people get. So definitely keep an eye on that. It's really just like a negative energy cycle, and that's why you always hear people who drink a lot of caffeine are always tired in the morning, always need their caffeine to wake up, always are not themselves until they have their caffeine, because they've also proven that just 1 cup of caffeine or coffee a day can actually change your way your brain functions. So then without caffeine, you don't feel like yourself anymore because, well, your brain's not functioning the same way it usually is when you're on caffeine, and most people are drinking caffeine pretty much all day, every day. Okay. And I was a big caffeine drinker, not necessarily coffee. I wasn't a big fan of coffee that much. Maybe if I had a lot of sugar and cream in it. But I was more a fan of like energy drinks and sodas. And so I would have a lot of Coca-Colas. I'd have a lot of, just other kind of sodas with caffeine in it. I'd have a lot of energy drinks like Monsters and Red Bulls and Nas, I think that's the one it is. I just have all different kinds of energy drinks, and I worked a late night shift. I worked at a taco cart. I worked starting at like 8 p.m. When I was in college and a little bit after college, and we would set up outside the bar scene in Fort Collins, Colorado, and we would actually serve all the people who were coming out of the bars, and we would stay open till about like 2:33 in the morning. And so it was always a very night, because after we finished there, we'd go clean up at our clean up that location and go back to our commissary and then clean all the dishes and stuff, put away the food, and then go home. So I usually wouldn't be home until like 5 or 6 in the morning. And then while I was in school, I'd have to get back into the morning shift. Even when I wasn't on school, oftentimes I'd be working morning shifts on the weekdays. So, it was definitely not the best thing for my system, and we'll talk more about that. But I was using caffeine as my source of energy there, and it was actually a form of self-sabotage, I realize now. So the next one that's common is blue lights / bright lights, and this one, of course, is going to be another one that people probably don't want to hear, but at the same time is very important to talk about because it's so common in society now, especially with cell phones. So what's common sources of blue light and bright lights? Well, phones, cell phones. Now, TVs, computers, LED lights. If you have LED lights on in your room, I'd recommend not having LED lights. So they're blue light on phones and computers. I know you can actually set up so you turn off the blue light within a certain time. At least I know on my computer, I make it so the blue light gets turned off. So sometimes I am working a little bit later. I actually don't have problems sleeping because I do a lot of things to protect my sleep and to help me get a good night's sleep. But I do turn off the blue light at a certain time at night. It makes it so the picture, but it's worth it to get a better night's sleep, and it's better for your health. So what does this blue light, what do these bright lights, why are they a problem when you're trying to get a good night's sleep? How do they make you more tired? Well, what they do is they actually mess with, so when your eyes, the way your brain tells, like if it's nighttime or daytime, is by the light that's coming in, right? So certain kind of lights will tell your brain that it's daytime, right? So these bright lights, these blue lights, will tell your brain that, hey, it's daytime right now. So it won't be producing melatonin like it would if you're about to be going ready, if you're getting ready for bed. It'll be producing more serotonin, which is the more active, awake chemical. But towards nighttime, it's just start producing melatonin to help you sleep. So that's a major reason, and so it really affects our circadian rhythm, and which is our circadian rhythm is a 24-hour cycle that's tells us when to go to bed and when to wake up based on how the sun works, because that's how the light works within our brain, right? So that's really important. Limit the blue light and the bright lights. Probably for 2 hours before you go to bed. Avoid those bright blue lights, and if you're not willing to do that, at least 1 hour. Read a book, do your bedtime routine, do some affirmations, meditate a little bit. Avoid that bright light as much as possible. Sunglasses outside. This one is common. People probably don't think about it, right? So again, it's for the same kind of reason. Your brain regulates if it's bright from the light outside, it will produce different chemicals based on that. So if it's noticing that, hey, it's dark out because you have sunglasses on, it's not bright out like it should be, your brain is not going to be producing serotonin like it should, which is your active chemical to keep you more awake and alert. Instead, it might be start producing melatonin, meaning that you're going to be more tired during the day. So I used to wear sunglasses all the time, like most people, right? Walking around, hey, it's bright out, put my sunglasses on. Oh yeah, I look so cool, right? But at the same time, I don't like to wear them anymore because, and the only time I do wear them is if I feel like I have to. And I noticed the less I wear them, the less I feel like I have to, because the less I wear them, the less situations I'm in. Well, the only time I do wear them is when like some super bright light is coming in my eyes and I'm really trying to focus on something, like if I'm driving. If I'm driving towards the sun, like there's no way I can block it with like just like the flap on the car, then I will put on some sunglasses to help myself see so I don't crash. But other than that, I don't wear them at all anymore. Because once again, it messes with our circadian rhythm. Next one is no or limited grounding. What is grounding? You may be like, what is grounding? Well, you can think of your body as a battery, right? You use your energy and then it needs to recharge. What's one of the ways that it recharges? Well, back in the day, we used to always be outside. We used to be more barefoot. We wouldn't have rubber shoes. And so our bodies could actually pick up energy from the earth. Because really, if we're standing on barefoot in the grass, on earth, swimming in the water, oceans, lakes, rivers, then we're getting energy from the earth. We're getting frequencies from the earth, and that helps us recharge our batteries. So try to get 10 to 15 minutes of that a day. If you can, take off your shoes, take off your socks, go stand outside in the grass, go sit on the side of the grass, put your feet in the on the grass with your soles on the ground, put your hands on the ground. I like to do a little meditation where I close my eyes, I imagine myself, my feet actually growing into the ground and roots coming out of the bottom of my feet and going into the earth, and then just absorbing energy and pulling it up back up to my body. And I use my imagination. I feel that energy come in my body, and I always feel more energetic afterwards. So it's there's a lot of information on grounding, so look it up if you're interested in it. But yeah, it's really important to think about because we are energetic beings, and really everything's made up of energy. So energy is very, very important. Exercise. If you are not exercising, you're not going to have a lot of energy. And it may sound kind of weird because, like, well, if I'm exercising, I'm going to be using up more of my energy. But the way it works is if your body is weak, you don't have a high capacity of energy. If your body is weak, you're not going to be strong enough to be able to do more things. The stronger you are, the more endurance you have, the longer you can go, right? So more energy capacity, like, or was it talking about how our bodies are batteries? The more energy you can actually hold when the stronger you are, and the less energy you have to use to do certain things. So exercise super important. Um, as you work out, find yourself, you have more and more energy. You want to do more things because you're a stronger individual. You have stronger body. You have usually better blood flow when you're working out. Your body's moving and your brain's grooving and you're feeling good, right? And then on top of that, exercise has been proven to increase your sleep. So they did a study um, on what was the best time to exercise to get the best sleep. So they studied people working out in the morning, in the afternoon, and late at night. So guess which one had the best night's sleep? I'm guessing probably most of you guessed morning. Um, and it's because it makes the most common sense, right? If you work out in the morning, that means you have enough time for your body to get amped up and you're like, yeah, I just worked out, to start calming down again. And then at night, you're like, man, I worked out today. I'm pretty tired. I want to go to bed, right? That's compared to if you work out in the middle of the day, you don't have as much time. If you work out at night, um, you might be a little more amped up before you go to bed. Either way, exercising is probably going to help you sleep no matter what. So I do recommend getting some exercise, even if you have to work out after work. 10 minutes a day. You don't even have to go to a gym. Do some jumping jacks, do some push-ups, do some squats, do some leg lifts on the ground, do some bicycles, go for a walk. Just even a walk every single day can be a great form of exercise to get you going. Do a bike ride, right? Do things to get your blood flowing. Do things to get your body moving. Very, very important. You're not getting enough sleep, and you want at least 8 hours of sleep. If you're not getting that, then you're definitely gonna need more sleep because your body. But what does sleep do, right? I talked about how your body is a battery. It needs to recharge. When you're sleeping, that's one of the times your body is recharging. So if you're not sleeping long enough, then your body can't recharge. And really, sleep is like the way your body heals and repairs. So you need to give your body enough time to heal and repair and recharge itself. And oftentimes people will maybe sleep 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and they feel like they're still tired. What's going on there? Well, your body does actually need to go into a deep REM cycle sleep. So deep REM cycle, your body goes through different cycles as it sleeps. Usually when you go into like deep dreams and things like that, you're in a deep REM cycle. That has been proven to get you the most rest, the most energy increase, the most healing, the most recovery as possible when you're in that deep REM cycle. So if you're still feeling tired after you slept, it means you probably didn't get your deep REM cycle sleep, or your body is still really recovering from the amount of energy it's been missing out on, which could be a possibility too. Or it could be the caffeine. If you're drinking lots of caffeine, that's going to be affecting you, like we talked about. So next one is going to sleep too late. And like I talked about in my taco cart, when I worked at the taco stop in Fort Collins, Colorado, what that was like, right? I worked really late. I get home super late and I wouldn't be getting good sleep anymore because I'd come home at like 6 in the morning. I would pass out every time because I was so tired, but I'd usually wake up multiple times in the morning. I would not sleep as long as I should. I wouldn't get into that deep REM cycle sleep because when I was going to sleep so late, I was having more light come in the middle of the night. I didn't, during when I was sleeping still, because it was, like noon to like 1 o'clock when I woke up. And so it was bright outside. I didn't have bright blackout curtains. So I was getting all that light in on my through my eyes, and I was not getting the sleep I should. My that light is a signal to us to wake up. So if you start getting really bright lights while you're sleeping, you're gonna not get into that deep REM cycle sleep. And really, what's the best time to try to go to bed? Well, between 10:30, I recommend a little bit earlier than 10:30. By at least 10:30, I recommend getting to bed, and to wake up by at least 8:30. I recommend waking up a little bit earlier than that. Really, it's best to try to go to bed with the sun and wake up with the sun. I know for some people that's just not realistic, and sometimes when there's like time changes and things, it's not realistic for me either. But I do my best to kind of stick to that because, like I said, that's the way our bodies work, right? So, once the sun starts going down, your body, if you're avoiding bright lights, should start producing more melatonin. You should be starting getting more sleepy, and then that's naturally the circadian rhythm that you should be going to and get sleepy. And then the sun starts coming up, it gets light outside, and you start seeing light, and you wake up, and you get up, you start feeling more awake. The circadian rhythm. Look it up if you're not too familiar with it. Next one is your thoughts and mind are running rampant. How common is this, right? There's so many of us that are in the spot where we're trying to go to bed, and just thought after thought just keeps coming back, or random new thoughts keep coming out. Like as soon as we're about to go to bed, what if this? What about that? Now, when do these usually happen? Your mind won't quiet. You're thinking of everything. Often it's caused from when you're very stressed out, from when you have depression, anxiety, other things like that, which usually means that you're not in a spot in your life where you're feeling good, where you're feeling happy. So you have all these worries, you have all these things going on in your mind, right? So I'll talk about some tips that you can do to address that towards the end of this. But you need to learn how to take control of your mind. You need to know how it works, how your mind works, and how to use it in your favor. And when I'm talking about your mind, I'm not talking about consciously, because consciously you're trying to go to bed, right? You're trying to think, okay, I just need to go to bed. Then a thought keeps popping in your head, right? What part of your mind does that come from? That comes from your, sorry, got a burp. That comes from your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is a part of your mind that those thoughts are coming from. It's like a record player essentially, and just popping in and out, saying, "Hey, time for this thought, time for this thought, time for this thought," right? So it keeps playing it over and over again because it's like a record player going on. And this part of your mind is where those automatic negative thoughts, automatic thoughts just in general come from. So that's why you're having trouble sleeping, because this part of your mind is not turning off. This part of your mind, um, unlikely, it's having these thoughts still going rampant because of the bright light, because of the stress, because for the same reason that caffeine and coffee cause you to feel more awake, stress does too, because stress has been proven to increase your cortisol levels, which means that your flight or flight response systems are activated, right? So that means that you're going to be more aware, more awake, and so the stress can cause more of that. So then your subconscious mind is more awake and more aware, and is thinking about everything, right? Oh, the worries, this thought, that thought. So that can be, and that's kind of the same thing as anxiety, right? You're worried, you're fearful of something going on. What is fear? It's a form of stress. So then your flight or flight response system's activating there. Depression is not really the same, but depression is usually where there's a lot of negative thoughts going on, right? You have lots of recurring negative thoughts, and that usually I think it's a bunch of common, or it's a bunch of these ones mixed together, right? Because a lot of people don't understand how much these things really do affect you, and they're saying, "Oh, whatever, it's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that." But when they all combine together, they really do affect you. The last one, number 9, you are low on nutrients and dehydrated. So why do we have nutrients in our body? Why do we eat in the first place? Why do we consume water in the first place? Well, we consume water and we consume nutrients so that our body can function correctly, right? Our body and mind can function correctly. If they're not getting the right nutrients, if they're not getting the right quality water, if they're getting overloaded with toxins, with chemical additives and food dyes and pesticides and fluoride and chlorine and all these things, heavy metals and stuff, then they're not going to be operating efficiently, meaning they have to use more energy to protect themselves from those things, to get things going, and to get the organs functioning. So that is why what you eat, what you consume, what you put into your body is so important, and really what you put onto your body, because like the deodorants, the toothpaste, the shampoo, conditioner, all those products, the hairsprays, the makeup, all those things all affect you, right? Like the cologne, the perfumes. So you need to think about really what you're putting onto and into your body, right? If you don't know what's in the things, if you don't know if it's harmful or not, I wouldn't recommend putting in your body or onto your body, right? There's a lot. Once you start doing the research, you'll realize that there's a lot of very harmful ingredients. There's a lot of very harmful ingredients and chemicals within our foods, within our drinks, within the products we're putting onto our bodies. And once you start to understand that, you'll realize that people are poisoning themselves and are very nutrient deficient. So I was in that same boat, right? I had no idea. I was just following what everyone else was doing, eating all the junk food, eating the McDonald's, eating the Burger King, eating the Subway, eating, all that crap, having Coca-Colas, using just any deodorant, using toothpaste with fluoride in it, not filtering my water. I had no idea until I started to look into it. And I was actually living at home at the time. I had to move back in after college because I was in credit card debt, because I was in self-sabotage. If you haven't heard my story, definitely check it out. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to check that out. If you haven't heard my story, but I had a lot of time to think. So I did a lot of research and I started going down kind of like the rabbit hole, right? You can say. So I started looking to all different kinds of things. I started realizing, hey, our food system is corrupt. Our food system is broken. We're getting poisoned, just in general. The FDA, the agencies in charge of protecting us are failing. A lot of these things that are getting put into our foods are banned in other countries. A lot of these chemicals that we use to grow our food are banned in other countries. So it's really important you understand what you're putting into your body, because there are better choices out there. You do have to pay a little bit more money, but you're getting more nutrients and you're not poisoning yourself, which is always a plus. Why pay less money to poison yourself and to not give yourself the right amount of nutrients, right? That's really what you got to think about. So you're literally paying to have less energy. You're literally paying to not feel good. You're paying to be more sick, is what I think about if I choose that cheaper option. Instead, I'd rather pay a little bit more to feel better, to have energy, to get good quality food into my body, because that is how your organs will function correctly. That is how your mind is going to function correctly. That's how you're going to have your energy. That's how you're going to get a good night's sleep, is if you put good things into your body. And I can do a whole talk on organic food I have. So make sure you check that out as well if you're interested. So what are some tips on how to get a better night's sleep? And I kind of alluded to some of these already, but they're going to be good to refresh you and just kind of give you a list. So number one would be to increase your melatonin production. Now, how can you do that? Well, you're going to be getting more sun, avoiding the bright lights for 2 hours before bed. And if you're not willing to do that, at least 1 hour. It's going to help. Trust me, I promise. Doing the blackout curtains. So turning off any lights in your room. You want it as dark as possible in your room. So don't have your phone light showing. don't have any other kind of lights showing. Don't have a night light if you can. Really get blackout curtains. You want it pretty much pitch black in there. That'll be the best way to get the best night's sleep, especially if you're going to be waking up a little bit later in the day. Sour tart cherry juice. So you can have a nice, delicious treat. It's a little bit better. Some people don't like it as much. My wife is kind of like meh on it, but she still drinks it because she knows how powerful it is. And actually, sometimes when we had our young child, kid, we have a son. He's almost a year old now, but for a while there, she wasn't drinking because it got her too tired, and she had to wake up in the middle of the night. It was hard for her to wake up in the middle of the night because it got her too groggy. What sour tart cherry juice does is it has the precursor for melatonin production in it, right? So that precursor for melatonin production, what it does when you drink it after like 30 minutes to a couple hours, your melatonin production is increasing, kind of like the same way as like when you start to go ready for bed. So it's going to help you get more sleepy, get into that deep REM cycle sleep, which is what you want. Actually, I just drank myself some sour tart cherry juice. It's gone now, but had some of that not too long ago. I look forward to it actually when I do drink it because it's so delicious. And of course, organic is best if you can get it. If you're like in Colorado or in like that part of North America, you might find their Sprouts, natural grocers. Look at your health food store, but some people will find organic stuff there. Actually, a lot of the places like Walmart and stuff are starting to get more organic stuff. So you might even be able to find it there, but you want to look for organic sour tart cherry juice. And if you can't find any and you're in US, Canada, or Europe, I do work for a company. I partner with a company called Purium, which has a bunch of organic superfood products, and I do get their sour tart cherry juice from them. And it can get delivered right to your door. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can get you 25% off. It can definitely help you guys sleep. Number 4, avoid caffeine altogether, right? Avoid it altogether. If you're not willing to do that, because I know some people are like, no way, I'm not giving up my caffeine. Not my caffeine. Well, if you're not willing to give it up, at least avoid it in the afternoon. Like I said, drink it before 12 p.m. Try to drink it as early as possible. Spend more time outside, right? There's multiple reasons I mentioned. Grounding, get 15 minutes a day. Put your feet in the grass, in the sand, on the earth. Go take a dip in the ocean. Go take a dip in a river, in a lake, and swim around and get that, recharge your battery, right? Avoid using sunglasses unless absolutely necessary, right? I don't use them at all anymore unless I have to. I'm going to get blinded and I can't see while I'm driving. And there's something I haven't talked about yet, but sun gaze. And don't look into the sun, obviously, when it's fully risen to the sky, but when it's doing its descent on the setting, you can watch it then. It has less bright light. It's amazing for your eyes. It will help let your body know, hey, it's time for sleepy time. Same thing as sun rising. If you wake up and the sun's not up yet, take some time to watch it as it rises. Perfect, very healthy for you. Very great for helping produce your serotonin production. Just like sun setting is perfect for increasing your melatonin production, getting good night's sleep. So do some sun gazing like that. Next one is exercise in the morning, like I talked about. 10 minutes a day. Do some walks in the neighborhood, do some push-ups, do some squats, do some sit-ups, do some leg lifts, do some bicycles. You don't have to go fancy. You don't have to go to a gym. You can get it all done at home. Really, that's the way I get most of my workout done, to tell you the truth. I think this other morning I did put my sets of push-ups in my closet because my son was asleep, my wife was asleep. And I was doing it as I was getting ready in the morning. So I just go to my closet, do a set of push-ups, brush my teeth, do another set of push-ups, shave, do another set of push-ups. Um, take or go to the bathroom, do another set of push-ups, go shower, and call that good, right? So you don't have to get fancy with it. You can still get some good exercise. You can still help boost your sleep with just a little bit of workout. Um, get at least 8 hours of deep sleep, like we talked about, and going to bed before 10:30 p.m. If you still wake up tired, it's likely because you didn't get enough deep sleep or because you haven't been doing it for long enough. So continue with that practice. Avoid the caffeine if you're still feeling tired. Avoid the bright lights. Increase your melatonin production. So next we're going to be talking about one of my longer ones, which is how to take control of your mind. Because we talked about this, right? Your mind's on rampant. It's losing all control. And this is one we're going to talk about with the subconscious mind. Now, this is something I personally work with all my clients on. I obviously work on a lot of different things like health and things like that. But when it comes down to it, a lot of times when people are trying to make healthy decisions or things like that, they run into self-sabotage. And where does a lot of self-sabotage come from? From within a part of your mind, the subconscious, because your subconscious mind often has different goals than your conscious mind. So when you try to take a conscious action, your subconscious mind has a different goal, and your subconscious mind is really has more processing power, is able to influence your thoughts, actions, and urges and desires. And so you kind of run into a big brick wall that is your subconscious mind, and you go and you counter that self-sabotage, and then you end up stumbling a little bit back, and you went a couple steps forward, hit that wall, and go a couple steps backwards, and you're back to where you started, or maybe possibly even farther back, right? So that is really important to understand how the subconscious mind works. So let's just really talk about the two different parts of your mind real quick. It won't be long. Conscious part of your mind is your thought, is your critical thinking part of your mind. It has your goals, your dreams, your aspirations in it. It can reject information. It can accept information. It takes in about 40 pieces of information per second, which is pretty decent. But compared to the subconscious mind, this part of your mind takes in 11 million pieces of information per second. So as you can tell, it's a much more powerful part of your mind as far as raw processing power. Now, this part of your mind does not filter that information at all. It absorbs it all in and takes it in as data, and then uses that data to determine what its goals are, or really what the safest thing for it to decide to help you do is. Because it wants to help you fit in with your environment, with society in general, because it's found that fitting in is the best way to survive. And its main goal is to help you survive. So congratulations. It's kept you alive. It's not a broken part of your mind. It's just, unfortunately, it's been manipulated by some outside forces that understand how this part of your mind work and use it against society in general. That's a whole nother topic, but pretty interesting topic. So this part of your mind does not reject information, right? It can't tell what's good or bad. So this part of your mind has been programmed to have negative thoughts, to have probably to have like the ADHD kind of mind where you're always thinking about something. And that's from like social media, that's from distractions like your phone, that's from distractions like TV, right? These things don't help us focus on one thing, because you'll be focusing on one thing and then all of a sudden you get a little buzz from your phone, like, oh, what's that? Or you'll be focusing on something like, oh, wait, let me just check my phone real quick to see if I got these likes. Let me go check my phone to see if I got a comment. Let me check my phone to see if I got a text message, How common was it, or is it for people to be like, oh, wait, I think I got a text message, because they feel like they think they feel a vibration on their phone. They think they hear it, and they check their phone. There's no text message, right? The phantom vibrations, right? That's kind of like training you to be more ADHD. It's training your subconscious mind really to be more kind of all over the place, right? So to quiet your mind before bed, you obviously practice my other tips, because those tips are going to help get your mind in a place to be more sleepy. But then you also need to start to change the things you're telling yourself. So you might have a belief at this point that you don't sleep very well. You might have a belief at this point that it's hard for me to get a good night's sleep. If you're telling yourself that, if you believe that, it's going to be true, because that's the way our mind works. That's the way your subconscious mind works. It kind of accepts what we tell it as the truth. And it accepts that whatever the most familiar message, that we tell it as the truth. So that's something you need to important. So if you just tell yourself, I'm gonna have a good night's sleep once, and you tell yourself you're not a good sleeper or something like that multiple times, it's gonna believe the part that you're not a good sleeper because you told that multiple times, or just the once, right? But the idea is, before you go to bed, tell yourself, oh, I'm gonna have an amazing sleep tonight. I'm going to get a great night's sleep tonight. I'm going to go into a very deep REM cycle sleep. I'm going to remember all my dreams. I'm going to have the most amazing dreams ever. I'm going to fall asleep with ease. That kind of stuff. The more you tell yourself that, the easier it's going to become to sleep. Tell yourself that every night. Right? And if for some reason you have problems, you feel like you're lying to yourself, to say, I'm getting better and better at falling asleep with easily every night. I'm getting more and more drowsy every night as I practice this, or something like that, right? Find a way to tell yourself so you don't feel like you're lying. But essentially tell yourself you're gonna have a good night's sleep. Different things you can do to help quiet your mind before bed. You can meditate. So you can meditate. Just try to quiet your mind, go into a dark place, and relax yourself. That can be a great way to start to do it. You can do some deep breathing. When you're laying down, focus on your breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. In for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds. Right? Focus on your breath. Bring your mind, your awareness onto something else besides those thoughts. Don't let it run rampant. Or focus on a mantra. So focus on a certain phrase, a certain belief, on something on a goal, right? Just keep bringing it back to that mantra if you keep finding your mind wandering. A nice one to do is listen to a hypnotherapy. So if you don't know what hypnotherapy is essentially a form of hypnosis. And if you don't really know what hypnosis is, if all you've heard about hypnosis is that you're going to cluck like a chicken, that's not really what I'm talking about. Hypnosis is a way to change your mind's brain wave state. So essentially, your brain is in a certain wave state when you're awake. When you go to bed, it changes brainwave states and actually passes through theta state on the way there, which is the part of your brainwave state when you're going to hypnosis-like state, which really means that your subconscious mind is very programmable at that point, right? So if you listen to hypnotherapy, they're supposed to help you get into that theta state, which then once you're in theta state, you're very close to the delta state when you're going to be sleeping. That's really where you want to get to when you're sleeping. So going to hypnotherapy can help you be a great way to relax. And a lot of times the hypnotherapist knows that relaxation is a great way to go into hypnosis. And oftentimes when I listen to it and my wife listens to it or other people listen to it, they end up falling asleep. So try listen to a guided hypnotherapy or a guided meditation and just focus on relaxing. Another thing you can do is just record yourself doing affirmations, right? Affirmations are really just statements kind of like, I'm going to have a good night's sleep. They are I am statements in the present tense. So it could be like, I am grounded in my adult power. I welcome wealth into my reality. I have love in my heart and money in my pocket. Life will always provide for me. I love myself. I love life. I'm very grateful for life. I lovingly take my power back. I'm confident and clear in my purpose. Kind of things like that. You find whatever feels good for you, write them down, then just use your phone to record them and then play them as you go to bed. It's actually a great way to reprogram yourself and help you overcome self-sabotage while also helping you get a better night's sleep. You can do once to say like, I have amazing abundant energy. I get great night's sleep. I am like a energizer bunny. I always keep going. Say things like that to get yourself going and to reprogram your subconscious mind so you have more energy. So these are my tips on how to get a good night's sleep. Of course, there may be more tips out there. These are what has worked for me. These are what I use every night. These are what I help teach my clients with. This is what I highly recommend putting these into your life and trying these out. I'd love to hear if you try these out and they work for you, if they don't work for you. If you have any of your own tips, put them down in the comments. Send DM to me, but really put them in the comments if you can, because not only does it boost the algorithm for the video so more people can get the information, but it also will give other listeners the ability to see your tips as well, which is awesome. It's very important to do so. And please like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. That always helps to subscribe, because it's just really helpful to me. Overall, I want to be able to continue doing this, and the more subscribes I get, the more I can get closer to monetization, which will really help me support my family, and kind of break away from my 9 to 5 so I can do more videos like this for you guys. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you guys are interested in learning more about the subconscious mind, about health, about overcoming self-sabotage. I am here for you, and I can answer questions, and we can always hop on a one-on-one Zoom call if you guys want help. If you guys are looking for that sour tart cherry juice, if you can't find any that's organic, or if you just want to order from me to help support me as well, feel free to reach out to me. I can get you that link so you can get the 25% off. You can also check out what other products they have. There's some really good products from them that I use pretty frequently. So yeah, anyways, guys, have a good rest of your guys' night. Get a good night's sleep. Try telling yourself you're gonna have a good night's sleep tonight. Get some exercise in the morning tomorrow, or today if you're watching this early in the morning. Cut back on that caffeine. Try to avoid the bright lights. Do all the things to make it so that you can get free from your negative energy cycle and start to feel energetic again, start to feel like you're alive again. Anyways, guys, have a good rest of your day. My name is Tanner. You just listened to Self-Sabotage Solutions, and you learned why you may always be feeling tired. Thank you. Have a good night.